are live. That's what's up. What's up, everybody? This is Mr. Drew here to welcome you to another episode of the Andrew Glowczewski Experience. This is episode 99. Man, I can't believe it. I can't believe it, man. We're one away from 100. I don't have any special plans, man. I'm just gonna keep rolling forward. But yeah, man. Episode 99. Gonna continue working on this map. Uh, I stepped away for the day so I could do a little bit of work, and I had to do some designs and also update my website a bit. You can go on my website gmrdrew.art, check out the concept art page. I'm trying to catch up with all the work that I've done for my series that I'm working on here, and yeah, just taking that, touching it up digitally in Photoshop, and then just giving it something a little more professional background. So it's not just a piece of art sitting there, but actual looks a little bit more produced, I guess. And then uploading it onto my website. So I'm still catching up. So the website's still a little bit behind with all the actual art that I have, but it is what it is. Um, you know, I could only run, well, I choose to only run my laptop 4 hours at a time, and then I give it 2 hour breaks. And then after those 2 hour breaks, if I still need to jump back on, I will. And, or, usually it's too late by that point. Like it's 7 now, and in 2 hours it'll be 9. It- you know, unless I really need to do something and I can get it done in an hour. I'll probably just sit on here and just bang out this map instead with that extra hour. So this might be like a 3 hour stream, man. We'll see. Uh, but yeah, we're getting close. We're getting close to the finish line, man. I look at these posts that I make of it, and it's like, oh wow, it's really getting there. And yeah, man. Let me straighten out this camera. Let me get it on the proper top-down look. Let me get it in place. I had to move the camera around earlier, so I don't know if if we're good. Let me. There we go. This might be a little bit better. Oh man, this. There we go. Armatures. They're so much fun. Okay. So, in the background, I'm watching this really interesting video. It's called How to Draw Psylocke, um, and it's with Peach Momoko, a artist I've never heard of before. And yeah, let me. I have that playing on there, and it's kind of like what I'm doing here. It's just a camera from the top down, and she's drawing Psylocke. And apparently, she's done like a bunch of Marvel covers and things like that, and her artwork looks really dope. Uh, it's Peach Momoko, and she worked on a Psylocke cover called Demon Days. It's really dope. You have Psylocke. It looks like she's in Japan with like a dog, and she has another traditional style where she works with like markers and watercolors and things like that, or probably just watercolors. So I could appreciate that. I'm trying to find what materials am I looking for to start working. I'm wondering, like, immediately this spot caught my eye. I was like, ooh, I didn't. I need to put something in there. Here, let me just do this for now. And you, right? There we go. That works. And that. But yeah, so I started watching it where it's probably like an hour into it. I've been watching it before I started the stream. And yeah, very interesting, man. I think she's a Japanese artist. She don't even speak English. She has her husband translating for her. Kind of reminds me of the Junji videos that I watch, where Junji has a translator there, and he just sits there and draws and answers questions while the translator is sweating bullets. But yeah, so I don't know. I'd like to think in 3 hours I can kind of really get a lot done with this. We'll see. We'll see. We're gonna hold myself to that. And if I don't get it done, I fail. But yeah, I couldn't wait to get back on and finish this, man. Something I'm not feeling that, you know what, maybe I can try to fix that now. I really like how the tracks look up here. Is it on camera? Yeah. How the tracks look up at the top. And I really don't like how they look down here at the bottom. Like they need a little bit of break in between each other. There we go. Kind of break those up and give those tracks a little bit more. I'll have to go over it with a marker again just to lighten up the white. But, you know, a white paint marker makes for a good eraser. Alright. I need to do something about this marker. It doesn't want to work. Because, yeah, that's starting to become a burden. Okay, what else? What else? What else? Like, I want to jump onto colored pencils to start sharpening up edges and then do the black inks to really sharpen them up, but I definitely want to marker these in. So that might be what I do. So how do I want to do this? Here we go. Oh wow, that's crazy. I should have watched her a little bit closer. The watercolors are amazing. I tried looking for more videos of her. There's not much. And she has such a good camera angle for doing her work. You think she'd have like a ton of videos, but yeah. She's doing like a big, maybe 11 by 17 and using like a really thick brush. That's what I'm hoping to get to, man. I have my Patreon page, and on there I offer commissions. And I think 11 by 17s might start either at either at the Oni tier or the Dragon tier. Definitely, they're definitely on the Dragon tier. Okay. Um, I'll be looking. Are we focused? Tight. What do I want to do with this? There we go. And should probably do this. No, screw it. Wow. That's beautiful, man. I wonder how long is this? Okay. So a little past an hour. Yeah. That's what I need to get back into, man. Okay. What's going on? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know what other videos I have planned. Not that I'm being super talkative now, but you know, depending on what comes on, I may be like super quiet. But don't let that stop you from asking questions if you have any. Okay. Oh, duh. So it's this one gray, one, two, these areas. I wonder if this will do anything to change. These things are so light. You know, I gotta add a little bit of something to them. And what's all that? Is that grassland? There we go. Not that color, but you. You. Go over there. There we go. Okay. Alright, let's go for it, man. Let's go for it. Let's try to make this work. Yeah, maybe I just... Oh, she's doing another drawing? Holy shit. She just did a portrait of Psylocke. Now she's doing a chibi version? I haven't drawn too many chibi characters on this stream. I know I worked on some characters over here, and if you look, the build of their anatomy is essentially chibi. Oh, I must have passed them already. You know, like these characters, they kind of have like a chibi essence to them, but really they're just big heads. Like if this is like the standard human size, like they're pretty giant. But anatomically, they're very similar to chibi. Are we focused? Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yep. Anatomy's still important when you're drawing chibi. That's for sure. here hiding from me.
In Chibi's she doesn't care how big the head is. It could be as big as we want. Um, because Chibi, the bigger the head, sometimes the cuter they become. So yeah, the question about purchasing injured parts. I can answer that. Um, Not everything we do, we don't sell our stuff, but we do sell most of the stuff. A lot of the covers, unfortunately, we don't do commissions because of deadlines now. Um, we Most people just basically we have a website. It's not it's an online store. So people just basically email me,
Oh
and
wow.
others can access a peaches.com email address or Instagram, and people just direct message me there. And I have lists of what we have available usually.
Okay, so she does commissions. That's what's up.
And because the rough draft is finished, we should start to ink the chibi head.
Okay. Alright, how do I want to do these? I mean, I should just do them how I see them in my head, really.
Some of rules for Peach's chibi. Of course, it depends on the character, but in order to make the chibi as cute as possible, you want the forehead to be as big as possible, and the eyes to be like marble, cute, circle, googly eyes. But you do have to think about the balance. You can't just make everything too big. So you have to kind of calculate and get used to the chibi, big forehead, and marble eyes.
Okay. Okay.
For Peach, when drawing chibis, she doesn't go too deep in it. She likes to just kind of simplify things, but make sure the balance, the body balance, is correct. Usually, just the balance makes the piece look better at the end. Um, you can kind of almost fake the small details on TV. As long as you're having fun, it's important.
Mm-hmm.
What else, Tyler?
Gotta have fun. Here we
We have
go.
a question asking, does Peach's hand get tired of drawing?
I should have not have filled that one in. It's okay.
Each senpai, in English, I think like apprentices or not apprentices, but people that she looks up to. They kind of talk if tired or it starts hurting. It's probably because the artists are holding the pencil, the material, media incorrectly.
Yep.
If you hold your tools correctly, you usually don't get too tired, or it shouldn't hurt. So if your hands are hurting when you draw, you should learn how to hold the tools better.
Oh man, her chibis look ridiculous. I seen when I was researching her, that's when I learned like, oh, okay, she just does a bunch of covers, and I shouldn't say just, but you know what I mean. Like I was hoping that she did like a full comic. I would have like added that to my wish list and you know eventually buy it. But yeah, a lot of her covers had like chibi versions of characters on there, and I was like, so that's where those come from. You know what I mean? If you ever see like a comic book cover with like a published cover and it has like chibi X-Men on it or something like that, chances are it was her. Mm, what do I want to do? So how did I do that one? Let me double check this. Okay, yeah, so I went from dark to light. Okay.
You add a little bit of extra layers to make it look more natural.
What y'all wanna do? Wanna be ballers? Shot callers? Wanna yeah.
So even if sometimes your tools, like watercolor or marker, isn't holding the paper too well. Sometimes using other tools like colored pencil or other markers, other inks, um, can fix majority of the problem. And also using white ink to really tighten any loose um, parts of the artwork. So white is also very important.
There we go. What is this? Warm gray. Well, no. Or is it yes? Yeah. That works for me. That makes sense. All this stuff would be one shade darker.
And again, each of this air. So she is drawing the air around Sai.
Yeah, man, she did that chibi quick. That's why I was like, damn, we're damn near the end of the video. She's starting another piece. But yeah, she acts that one out quick. Looks good too, man. That's wild. Yeah, it's like this island is just one big waterfall. uh, those are definitely the hands of an artist. So yeah, I put on another video of someone who's talking about her. So this guy who's talking, I'm not even sure who he is talking about Peach Momoko, who's the artist I was just watching. I just turned the volume up so maybe we could listen to what he has to say. So I could learn about her, you know what I'm saying?
Let's dive a little deeper. We're not going to just see what you've seen printed. Let's kind of go through the process that she has on some of these more memorable pieces that you guys are all familiar with.
Number 10 on the list is the clock issue number 1. This is a store exclusive done by Peach, and it's seeing highs at
Holy
$130
shit.
at 9.8. And this is a really cool example of something that you got to assume happens when artists are hit with so many jobs. They can't know every single comic that they're going into. And Peach was very upfront about this. She said that she was given the freedom to do what she does best. Create something that was in her horror style. And that's what she did. She didn't have background.
She has a horror style, really.
But you know what?
Everything I've seen from her has been so cute.
It's a cool cover, like you mentioned. You kind of have this dichotomy of madness on one side, with clock cards, and then you have the other side, which is just a regular person. So it's like you mentioned, a creepy, dark story because the world comes or succumbs to hundreds of millions of people coming down with a very aggressive cancer, and it's just this global conspiracy. And one doctor's daughter's coming down with symptoms, so he's racing against the clock to find this cure, see what's going on, and that's what the story's about.
On one side, you have just this gorgeous color work, watercolors, and then on the other, you have tragedy. You have something that looks demonic. You have something that is like a cancer. It's dark,
Wow.
but that's what she wanted. This is her horror style. And she's acknowledging that.
That's dope.
Classic Peach, especially when you start seeing all these other images. You're like, you know what? That is her style. That is her look.
Peach Momoko, or is it Momoko Peach? Either way.
Telling us one of her favorite characters, which is why she was so excited to take on Strange Academy issue number 1.
Yeah, the character here is Magic, and if you go back to Magic, she's been around for a long time.
Magic from the
Franchise
from the New Mutants movie.
Granted, her character's changed some to really become this.
That's
character
dope.
we know now.
Looks like
But it's
her movie
strong
design is
image,
based off of
sword,
that
and
drawing
it's
a
about
lot.
character first, so she really dove in, and I love hearing how artists.
I love that New Mutants movie, by the way. Like, it had whatever.
Instead of just being this
But that character, the girl with the imagination world with the purple dragon and stuff, I guess her name's Magic. I want to see more of her. I want to see more of what she does, man. Like, her character is right up my alley with, things that I love.
Red Mother number 1.
9.8 $175.
Yeah, this has kind of got a similar feel of two halves like the clock, but same thing with her. She had a lot of information to go on, kind of went back to her darker roots just to give a creepier feel because the story here is pretty creepy.
I want to see more horror independent titles request Peach variants and let her go wild. Let her do what she's gonna do. This is an artist that if you give her little direction, she's gonna just run with it.
I always wonder about people who are strong leaning towards horror and in their like favorite list for things to watch and draw. I just wonder at what age that tends to kick in. For me, it was pretty young.
Yeah, I wonder what she watched, like growing up. What stuff kind of stuck with her to give her this almost Ben T style horror vibe to her art. She mentioned to me that when she was young, if her mother was ever trying to get her to be like a little bit quieter, maybe she's being a little bit rowdy, a little loud, all she had to do was be provided a crayon.
That's it. Crayon. I haven't tried that with my kids, but I don't think
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Well, that's all Peach needed, man. She needed a crayon, and that is very telling. Something that's colorful. She was doing color work at a very young age. She could have said paintbrush. She could have said pen, pencil, some type of ink. No, colorful work, and I think that shows in art.
That's a cool little tip. And then I gotta tell you, I like hearing the evolution of an artist. And I also want to talk about this next issue, number 7 on this list. Star Wars, man. Star Wars love, man. Yoda. We all love Yoda.
Oh, dope.
Baby Yoda, and the old Yoda.
The pressure of drawing Yoda. Can you imagine?
Oh my god. To have to live up to a standard of Yoda-ness for the community.
Let me read you this quote comic, man, because my first thought was the pressure, right? Like you on the scene drawing a major character like this, and this is what she said. I was very careful not to destroy everyone's image of Yoda. Calm, peaceful, and a strong master, a leader. It was a lot of good pressure, but I also wanted the cover to have the Peach vibe. I love that.
If you haven't realized yet, obviously Peach likes to use watercolors, okay? And then the finer details with other utensils, okay? And so in this image, and a lot of her work, you find out that she has a lot of her emotion and expression coming in through the eyes of the character. It's really, really important to her. Okay, so like, like you hear the windows.
Yeah, I guess these guys are going through it like top 10 pictures of hers.
I kind of get a lot of what she's saying. I do feel like it's
Comic
like
Tom
circles and radius
101.
image around his face into his eyes. And when I look at it, I see Yoda. I can just see him. And those action movies. Okay, with action movies.
Okay.
The heroes
Just to give them a shout out, just in case you're interested in this.
this.
I'd hate to be publicizing their work, you know what I mean? Like I'm enjoying their video. And I didn't watch it, I watched it for the subject matter. But still gotta give them a shout out. Hopefully they don't come after me.
She said that she focused on drawing his eyes to express not only strength, but generosity. He's kind, man.
I see the kind. I do. I really do. But man, I'm more like, Luda's gonna kick some butt right now. I'm looking at it, I was like, man, I see what you're doing, Peach, but I'm gonna look at it as like, he's gonna kick it like 5 dudes on the other end of this page right here.
9.8 hitting $200. This book's kind of been all over the place. And I want to remind everybody, these books are hot. They're at the top of the market. But this isn't a spec list, all right? This is just what's happening and what we're reporting on. I'm personally looking for a lot of these books. I'm not buying them right now. I'm going to be holding off until I can see the prices after a little bit, after things have cooled down on these books, because they are low print. But I want them all.
Clearly there's a trend of people enjoying work and big strong sales. So, I mean, for me, I'm just trying to jump in onto the next wave. Having to digest these prices is tough right now. If I see something like while diving through boxes, great, more power to me, but there's so many comics to like out there and put your money towards, it's hard for me to do that at this price point.
Definitely one of those situations where you want to be kind of looking at the comics as they come out to get them early. If you're looking to try to score something at 9 point, then you have some value in your time.
Boom, next at number 6, man, is a 1 in 10 variant. Read-only memories, number 2. Okay, this is selling for $250 at 98.
Yeah, respectable, and I think it's because of the color.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to say that a lot with her because that's just really her style, man. It's pretty evident. It's nice when you can recognize an artist just by looking at the cover. And I think that's kind of what makes it more prolific and pushing to the marketplace is when something is easy to separate from the masses. And that's easy for her.
She describes this as sci-fi pop, but she didn't want to leave it there.
Yeah, this was an interesting cover. It felt very anime style with the color work and the kind of perspective on it. It felt very like Speed Racer, DBZ, Akira. It's got this moto combo bike on the front.
Right, let's riff
Mm.
on that for a second. This Moto Compo is actually what it's called. It's a Honda scooter, the smallest scooter they ever released. And this thing is kind of like legendary in the motorbike community. There's actually trade shows of people who bring their Moto Compos out, customized and stuff. They're super small. They kind of transform her up so you can fold them and put them in the trunk of what would have been your Honda.
She
Wow.
discusses how she enjoys drawing motor vehicles. So for her, it's got to have been a little bit, or it has to have been a little bit of fun to draw something so niche. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm looking at this image here, we're getting to see for the first time a prelim of hers of this particular image. I mean, you look at it, you can kind of tell how she started, where she finished. It looks like she almost began with the bike and put the figure on top. She finished the eyes because eyes are so important to her. But she really tries to capture that emotion in her prelim. And you can tell just from this that it's so close to the final.
Right. I find that fascinating. And the fact that she went out of her way to mention that she just really likes drawing mechanics, bikes, transportation types of stuff. I want to see more coverage like that. I want to see stores who are going to get variants made possibly incorporate some type of, I don't know, weaponry, mechanics, Mad Max style vehicles. I don't know, but I like the direction that's going.
Yeah, something. It would be interesting to see that more mixed because I don't feel like I've seen any of that from her work. You know, I'm not talking like Kirby Fourth World, like crazy machines, but it'd be interesting to see her spin on mechanics.
This is a 1 in 10 variant. It's low print, and it's spiky because of the cover.
Yeah, this is another title. A lot of us aren't going to be familiar with these, and for her to have to not work from much either because there's no backstory, you get to see early interpretations of these characters. So just gathering from what she had, she wanted to draw all the female cast for this comic, Advanced vs. Wolves, #4.
That's right. This book is hitting $300 at 9.8 and climbing. This was a Kickstarter, and she actually knew the creator, which is kind of fun. I wonder, some of these independent titles, I'm sure people reached out to her, but others, yeah, she has friends in the game, and she's doing them a solid, and she had the opportunity to pick any one of the characters, and she couldn't pick. So she picked them all. She did it in this pinup style.
It definitely feels
Yeah.
very pin-up-like.
That's
And
dope.
I can definitely appreciate that because you just don't get to see it that often. 'Cause it's kind of almost, it's not like a modern pin-up. It feels kind of more classic style. And, for me, I appreciate that.
Next on the list at number 4, we have a major moment for the Peach Momoko resume. You know that's on there. We have Marvel Rising issue #1, the 1 in 25 variant, and it's $325 at 9.8. Her first Marvel cover, her first comic book variant.
Wow.
Can you imagine the pressure?
I can only imagine. Okay, that's the big leap.
I can only imagine.
This is your first at bat.
She said she had to leave an impression on the publisher. Like she had to go into this with like guns ready. She had to bring the heat.
And to step up and show them what you're worth by drawing more than one character.
She could have drawn one character, 2 characters, nah.
Yeah, she could have just been, do my job. I'll get it done. I'll just keep it easy and simple. Okay, just the norm. No, I'm gonna do what 6, 7 characters on here. I'm gonna show my range. Okay, and
3,
spit it out and
6,
for it to hit like this in the
8
marketplace,
characters.
That's
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
We've been talking about the corneas a bunch in this conversation. We've been talking about those optics. And here, you see it all come to a point. She specifically said she had to bring the energy through the portraits, and it's all coming from the eyes. It was all here, and that's what you have. Multiple portraits here, all communicating such energy, such vibrance, the peach vibe.
There are going to be no shortage of peachisms here. Okay, we're on a peach crush right now. All right, and we're going to #3, and there's some heat coming here, guys. All right, these are titles you're really going to recognize. We got Silver Surfer Black. You guys all remember Silver Surfer Black, right? I mean, that was a major hit. This is issue #4, 1 in 25 variant. We are seeing 9 sales in this book for $375.
Oh, wow.
This cover is classic. You have No going up against the Surfer with a broadsword in his hand, defending himself.
Damn, knowledge
This
is
book started out.
going through the entire MCU,
We
huh?
actually found out that the preliminaries of this had a completely different weapon in Silver Surfer's hand.
Hot diggity dog. This is why you subscribe to Comic
Where's my water at?
You know, I love the kind of Silver Surfer board. I think that is a wiser decision. But when you look at
There we
this
go.
image, I mean, check out this primo. He's got a rapier, okay, instead of the board concept. So
Mm.
we're talking like Griffiths from Berserk. Shout out to Jen, by the way, Berserk. And we're going with now a broader sword to match another broad sword. But look
Berserk.
how cool this is, man. Look at this.
Guts.
Yeah, look at Silver Surfer's stance. It's so different. It's more of an attack mode than in defense. And this is really cool because when you're working with Marvel, you're going back and forth. Like, you gotta get it right. These are very major characters, and it's gonna be done by the creative team specifications. So she did change it, and we have more preliminaries to look at.
I know he was excited about Null. I mean, you got this demonic character, okay? And so to get the freedom now to draw something that you love like that, she put it all out there. And he looks dark, he looks threatening, he looks massive and intimidating. And she did a great job. And if we look at these images, we can see her process. You know, you have the beginning stages of her watercolor, and then she comes into finer details with mixed media, where we're really talking like ink, colored pencils, and anything that's really going to layer on top properly.
Yeah, take a look at Silver Surfer Black's arm. That's color pencil. That's what makes it look different. Like, I was kind of re-looking at this cover to see how, yeah, there's paint in like the red of milk in the sword, but also you have this like almost combination of colors that are coming out of Silver Surfer, and yeah, those are like colored pencil. Let me read you this quote by Peach. I saw Null as a demonic and beautiful character, and I wanted to really bring out his evil beauty.
See, that's the deep thinking about artists. You know what I mean? Most people be like, I'm going to draw this dude with long white hair, make him look massive and, you know, dark.
Yeah, she really likes Tradmore's artwork. I mean, we mentioned this before. Tradmore is the favorite artist of the creatives that we like. And going into this title, you know that she had to make it proud.
I do not know Tradmore personally. But gosh darn it, if you were not proud of that, you better be proud of that. Gosh darn it.
Tell her number 2, man.
Number 2, Ghost Spider number 2, for 1 in 25.
That's right, shout out Sean.
Mm.
Yes, this is selling for around $700 at 9.8.
This is actually one
Yeah.
of the first books that I covered that Peach did on this show. And when it landed quick. The prices were moving up so quick, so fast. And it's because of a combination of two things. You have Ghost Spider looking so good right on the cover, taking a selfie. And that has become a classic Peach Momoko shot. We're seeing other renditions, homages, if you would, of her own work that she's doing herself because people are requesting it. And look at the background. She went nuts with the color work, and I think that's really what draws people in and makes them want to buy this comic.
I don't know how you can't really like this image, to be honest. I mean, the colors behind are absolutely amazing. The whole
Yeah.
familiarity of what she's doing and relatability is great.
She said she wanted to portray Gwen's street side. Doesn't get more street than taking a selfie.
No, it doesn't. And it's just a beautiful rendition of Spider-Gwen. And if we take a look here, we get to see kind of how far she goes with her first. Just get the concept and the idea. And I think that's captured here very clearly.
In this first draft.
Yeah, in comparison to the final.
That's right.
And then she will move into a much sharper version of pencils and maybe even some inks before she overlays it with her color work.
Yeah. And then boom, you have the final that comes out so vibrant with that spider silhouette, that Mignola negative looking so good.
Yeah, I would put this, for me, is probably one of my favorite pieces for her. And not just
Mignola.
because of the number selling,
It's
but
not
just
Mignola.
for the visual aspect of it.
Mignola.
It's one I'm really digging right now. Probably, it might even be my favorite out of this entire list.
Yeah, it's tied for me with number 1, which is a classic book. It's a key book. All right, we have TMNT issue number 100. This is the Death of
Oh wow, she did a
And
Ninja
suddenly
Turtles.
You see a key moment.
Dude,
Listed in titles when it gets
I love me some Ninja Turtles.
Because it's the Death of Splinter, or it being a TMNT milestone. No, it's selling because it's a classic Peach Momoko coming out.
I got an old TMNT picture. I don't even know if it's up on my website. I think they're just like locked away somewhere.
In my mind is Seven Samurai, Akira Kurosawa. If you are not familiar with this film, you need to watch it. Black and white,
Yeah.
horror film, absolutely amazing. This image emulates very much what samurai posters look like.
And that is what inspired this cover. This issue has seen some crazy gains in as little as a week. When I initially made this list earlier in the last week, this book was hitting around $200. We're seeing sales around the $450 mark now. And I don't know what to say about that price. It's definitely deterring me from getting this book right now. I'm kicking myself for not picking it up a while ago. But the story behind this book is amazing. So you see, Peach actually teamed up with another illustrator, Tommy Lee Edwards, to make a promotional poster at the North Carolina Comic Con. And this poster had TMNT on it, okay? And this idea came out of this collaboration to have Peach do a variant cover in the style of like vintage samurai films.
Yes, she absolutely killed it with this cover. That's exactly what I'm seeing, and it's exactly how I would envision it to be portrayed. And to have that added
So that's
touch,
number
Kevin
one.
Eastman was
God
absolutely
damn.
great as well.
Yeah, but like the day that this was
I knew there was a reason why I liked her.
Yeah, historical pressures, the creator of these characters that you're
Her number one
portraying,
cover is a Ninja Turtles piece. Like I knew there was a reason why I liked her.
they're proud of what you did with their characters.
We actually
Wow.
have shots of different versions of the turtles.
That's
that you're
dope.
seeing on screen.
I'm gonna turn this back down again, man. I don't want to get in trouble with stuff, but yeah, this was nice, man. You know, I like to do that. Anytime I learn about something new, I'll just like deep dive real quick. I couldn't find much on her, surprisingly. Like, there's a bunch of interviews, but I'm not trying to sit here and listen to like 1 minute interviews because that's like 40 seconds of like people being like, "Hello, we're here at the blah 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 blah, blah and I'm here talking with the hey, what's going on?" And then she'd be like, "I don't speak English, so I'm just gonna say this," and then her interpreter being like, "She loves it," and and then like end the video. But yeah, this is one of the longer ones I saw. It was like a breakdown of her stuff, and it was like, you know, totally worth it, man.
I would do something fun for this one. We've been covering a lot of kind of hardcore topics, composition, dynamics, and perspective, and things that are essential to learning how to draw comics. But sometimes it's
Now I got a Dave Finch
and I've been doing a lot of
how-to video.
of the writing
I
that
think it's his latest one. It's how to draw zombies.
so I kind of wanted to share with you some of the process that I went through to really get a sense of how I wanted to replace my zombies and the things that go into printing, textures, and lighting, and just some of my thoughts when I started drawing zombies for the cover of the book. I'm Dave Finch. I've been a comic artist for over 25 years. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe and share with your friends. And check out my Gumroad. I've got a link in the description below. I've just released a series of art drawings from different angles and arrangement for something that you can use for reference. Also, I have a new course on sketches and caricatures that you can find on my website, which is linked below. And you can also find it on Skillshare. I've also got a link for that in the description below.
Yeah.
So, for our zombies, I'm going to draw a regular figure. And this is kind of like standard superhero straightforward view. I draw this all the time, just
Oi,
drawing a few
oi.
figures just for demonstration purposes. There's really nothing special about this one.
Damn, is that a leaf? Yeah, that's a leaf.
I've got my chest up,
Those are leaves. Those are leaves.
holding 10, more or less, looking at us.
Okay.
And so there's my standard action figure. And when I'm thinking about zombies, I want to think in terms of really pushing my anglers. And a zombie really doesn't have very good control over their body, and so I might draw the zombie really stealthy. And also, my figure is much thinner, because zombies are, they're pretty dried out, they've lost a lot of water, and they're partly decayed. So I'm going to draw them
Zombies are dried out. They lost a lot of water. Oh my god.
just looking at us here, but I've really angled this up into the neck face here. I want his hand, fairly relaxed pose. And for my legs, they're much thinner, very
carnivorous plant island here. All these exotic plants. Super sexy, super seductive, and they will kill you. Oh, is this a different... This is a different orange than the one I thought it was. Okay. There we go. So let me just use you then. what the hell? That's not a zombie. What is he drawing? He's drawing something that look like Nightwing. Come on, man. Unless he's gonna start decomposing this person. Yeah, okay, so he just draws it anatomically correct. And then breaks it down. Which makes sense. I mean, if I was gonna draw a zombie, I'd start the same way as if I was gonna draw a regular face. And then you just beat it up. Oh shit, I still got my AC on. Give me a second. So funny. I have another thing I do for my laptop is I, turn on the AC. So that way at least the room stays cool while I'm using it. And then I usually have to, well, then I turn it off when I'm done. I forget to do that sometimes. I'm sitting here and I'm like, yo, my feet are freezing. What's going on? Akira Day. What's this man talking about? Okay. What is this man talking about Akira Day? Don't tease me with some Akira stuff.
This party's just getting started. You guys will be ready.
Turn all that down. Oh, Akira from Rival Schools. Are they bringing her out? Or is she coming out already? I thought she wasn't coming out until later on this year in Street Fighter 5. Yo, freaking! I think everybody's like waiting for Capcom to do what Capcom knows it needs to do. Alright, Capcom delivers some of the best crossovers and matchups, has some of the best like characters to create, or some of the best characters in the fighting game industry. Iconic, legendary, all that stuff. They have so many IPs between Darkstalkers, Rival Schools, Street Fighter. Uh, I mean, even as far as like the Devil May Cries, like even things that aren't their fighters. Like they have all these characters from all these other things that they have thrown in versus titles, and it's like all I'm waiting for is for Capcom to say, "Fuck it, Capcom Fighting Evolution, but for real this time," and release everything. And they're giving us like a snippet of it, where the last character that's going to be coming onto the Street Fighter roster is Akira, a character named Akira, not Akira the movie. It's Akira is a character from Rival Schools, which is like Street Fighter but for high school students, comprised of high school students, meaning you have high school students fighting each other and beating each other up. And yeah, Rival Schools has its own craziness. It was one of the first 3D games that they put out. I think Street Fighter EX came out first, and that was what it was. And they said, "Nah, we're gonna do it better," and they created a new game, so that way they didn't sacrifice or throw Street Fighter under the bus with another 3D failure, and they created Rival Schools. And it has its own like little following and things like that, and I know about it. I mean, they did comics. Udon did the comics for them, things like that. Damn. So these things really have to. Why it looks so bad? But yeah. So the last fighter that's coming in on Street Fighter is Akira, and she's from the Rival School series, but she's going to be in a Street Fighter series, which will be the first time they do a crossover character that's not in like a crossover game. This is a Street Fighter game, but they're featuring a fighter from another one of their things. And I don't know. I don't know what to think of it as far as like how monumental it is. I mean, it can be taken as like this is some of the craziest stuff ever, or it could just be taken as like, well, it's easier than getting like, Terry Bogard from SNK. Even though I believe they did that too. They get like characters from other fighting game people or companies will be like, oh yeah, okay, we'll give you one character, and then they get the one character, kind of like how Akuma popped up in Tekken 7, things like that. Um, so it happens. You get one. You get one character unless it's a complete crossover game, in which case, you get half and half of the roster. But yeah, this is a Street Fighter game, and they brought over one of their own characters from another series. I don't know how crazy that is. I know it could mean that it's the craziest thing ever because it could be like, okay, we're doing a Capcom Fighting Evolution. We're getting everybody, and we're just gonna have a whole jamboree, and that'd be nuts. That would be no 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 nuts. Here we go. Ooh, okay. How do I want to do? we go. So yeah, I'm just gonna use these and just rock out. How we looking, man? We still focused? We looking decent? It's looking alright. I can't wait to sharpen these things up with the pens. I've been saying that for forever. Just everything gets so muddy when I color them in like this. Gives a cool effect, but you know, I like to work super sharp. So yeah, I'm gonna throw. I'm just gonna start making some. I mean, this is basically gonna look like. I mean, it's basically like a big old coral house or something. Go. Kind of get these brighter colors in here. And it doesn't really need to make sense. Like, I'm just coloring this stuff in. Oh, is that what's happening here? I forgot about that. Oh man. I watched this other channel. He just released a video called Implicitly Pretentious. And this guy, he 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 breaks down like Marvel episodes and movies and all that, all that stuff that I'm always like watching and listening to. He'll break them down, but he comes from a perspective of like psychology, sociology, and that doctor stuff, the mind doctor stuff. Like he comes from that angle, and yeah, it's always interesting to listen to him and his breakdowns. They're not that long uh, videos. So once this video's over, it's gonna come on. But yeah, he just released that. And yeah, he'll like when WandaVision came on, after every episode he would release a video eventually, and I mean each video just focused on trauma, and that was because he recognized that all of these episodes were about the trauma that she's endured. But you know, he talks about other things too. It's just whatever he's seeing in you know these shows and movies and things like that. He's going to you know he's going to talk about it. And yeah, man, Wanda was all about the trauma of you know losing family, losing the brother, losing Vision, essentially like a husband, I guess. Like she lost so much, and you know that whole show and series was about you know the her coming to terms with it, and by the end of it she had to like kind of learn that lesson. And yeah, so it was interesting because he's breaking it down. He's like episode 1 trauma, week 2 it's like trauma, and then 3 he's like trauma. And it was just a whole season about trauma, and that's exactly what it was. Oops. Damn, what the hell was that? that's a sick ass zombie he drawing. Wait. Ah. I should probably be adding this white in later. And yeah, so he's breaking down Falcon Winter Soldier episode 3, the one I was talking about where I was like, yo, freaking Zemo killing it. And yeah. Of course, it's called Trauma, but it's amazing. Seems to be a theme, a running theme going on over at Marvel. All these characters who've suffered and had to endure tragedy, they're like, yo, we're gonna talk about all of them. And I was even talking about that when I was breaking down, the whole Isaiah Bradley thing. And like, imagine being him and seeing what he's seen and having to go through what he went through. And then I watched the Comics Explained video where it kind of really broke down everything about Isaiah Bradley's story. But for Phase 4, after the big bad of Thanos and all that stuff, it was like, yo, what do we do now? And it was like, isn't it obvious? Like, I mean, if we're not gonna be sitting here talking about Cap and Thor and Iron Man gone and all this other stuff, and we just have to pick up these pieces. Now we have to tell the story of these people, but continue the story of the narrative that we've been telling. So it's like we got to get a little bit of the background of, you know, some of these characters, and then we're gonna start focusing on what they're gonna be doing in the future. Where my water at? And yeah, I mean, if you gotta sit here and you're in the aftermath of the blip, I mean, yeah, you're gonna have a lot of people. Well, just life in general is gonna have to like kind of figure itself out again. And now they're focusing on that. So it's like, when Iron Man 1 came out in '08, there was nothing. And then when Avengers 2 came out and Vision spoke, he was like, ever since Iron Man popped up, like superheroes have been popping up like crazy. And, that all crescendoed into Endgame. And it's like, yo, we need to hit the reset button. and we need to like kind of sit back and recalibrate everything and all our characters and things like that. And what do we have? We have a bunch of characters who are messed up. Bad guys who are still alive, they're messed up. Uh, the good guys, the sidekicks, they lost their hero, they're messed up. Oh yeah, I already got that color in there. I already got that area. So I'm just gonna focus on these little coral islands over here. So it's funny because yeah, you could say that the first three phases of Marvel just left nothing but a bunch of trauma. Think about it, if that was your life and your life dealt with within the span of 10 years, you know, robot AI, essentially Terminator, um, alien invasions, which is like War of the Worlds, and what else? I mean, I guess like Loki. You got like gods from your own texts coming back. It's almost like Armageddon. It's almost like the Book of Revelations. You know what I mean? You have three major events like that all happen within a 10-year span. Where does that leave you? And then to add on top of that, the alien invasion wiped out half of the planet's population, and then just one day, 5 years later, they all came back. Okay, so I guess it was over the course of 15 years then. Because it was 10 years, but plus the 5-year blip. So over the course of 15 years, three major events like that happen. I mean, I'm 32 years old. That means this would have started when I was 17. If I was 17 and I lived through the Terminator, and I lived through, and not even to say like, oh, I experienced it firsthand, but just like witnessed it and like heard about it and learned about it and all that stuff. Like it was like 9/11 or something. Like if I just witnessed Terminator and just witnessed War of the Worlds and witnessed the Book of Revelations. I mean, I probably wouldn't be sitting here drawing pictures. I'd probably, I'd probably be like a, I don't know, man. What, like some commando unit just waiting for the next thing to pop off and to be ready for it, and to defend. Because on top of that, like heroes are dying. Iron Man, the most popular hero, everyone on the planet knows who he is. He's gone. Like, you got to think of the traumatic effect that those first three phases would have had. So yeah, man, picking up on this phase 4 and all these stories, and this implicitly pretentious guy, going through WandaVision, basically every episode is trauma. But he breaks down a whole bunch of other things too, and then he'll put in like this, that, and the other. It's not always all trauma. It's just this Marvel stuff is. I definitely say go check him out, man, because yeah, it's very interesting. He just looks at it from a different perspective. I watch a lot of breakdown videos, and there are people who read comics or watch movies on the reg, and they'll talk about the entertainment aspect of it. They'll talk about the story elements of it. But this guy, when he's breaking down his videos, and I enjoy all those, but he's talking about just the mental state of these characters and what the writing and everything like that is trying, maybe what the writer was trying to say, but they needed to say it in a really poppy way or something like that, or in a really fun way, so that way, it's not boring or depressing or sad. And his videos are well produced, well thought out, well scripted, like, you know what I mean? He's not just sitting there talking like me. He's actually working and doing stuff. And yeah. So because I love that episode 3 so much, it's going to be interesting to hear him break down um Zemo, cuz you got to think, man, Zemo's up there with Wanda. Lost his wife. Maybe I don't know if he had kids or what, but you know, that he had his whole plan to get rid of superheroes. Now Cap's gone, Iron Man's gone. Like, come on, man. I heard a theory. One of the other shows were talking about that he dons that purple mask to mimic Thanos, because Thanos had that purple, he had purple skin, and then he had that ribbed chin with the vertical lines. And Zemo's mask, coincidentally, is purple and ribbed vertically. So it kind of, I don't know, it'd be interesting if that ends up being true. Like, what's the purple mask for? He'd be like, you know. You got to sit there and think, like, Zemo feels a bit accomplished with having Cap and Iron Man out of the picture, and now here he is playing with the sidekicks. Like, I feel like Zemo's here to wreck shop, and him being a master tactician, and the sidekicks like needing his help because of all this other funky stuff that's happening. I mean, yeah, Zemo's gonna. People have been drawing the parallels like he's like a bad Batman. Penguin's like a bad Batman, but Penguin probably wasn't ever like a master tactician. So he's interesting character. It's gonna be interesting to see where he goes. And yeah, he has Zemo on the cover, and on the cover it says trauma. So, he's gonna break down the whole episode, I'm sure. But yeah, if he has Zemo on the cover, because obviously the third episode was highlighting, focusing on Zemo and his character. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Holy shit, he's saying that picture is not rendered? Fuck out of here. Dude, this man just drew a whole detailed zombie, and he's like, "Yo, believe it or not, it's not rendered." And now he's sitting in here throwing in the shade lines, and it's like, my gird. Like, are you serious? It's like super. It's already super detailed, but yeah, that's what separates the me from the pros. I would have drew that zombie. I would have been like, "Yep." Yeah, this is gonna get super rough. Those islands are super loose. So, oh, wow. Okay. That's interesting. It's interesting to hear a professional break it down. I would have called that illustration of a zombie already rendered. But he's like, nope, not rendered yet. And then he starts throwing in those lines, the directional shading lines. Wow. 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 That man's a beast, getting all that detail in there like that. Are you nuts? Are you nuts? Okay. Did I ever drink that coffee? Give me 1 second. Let me get up. I just kind of remembered. I think I might have a coffee sitting around. I might need to heat up. Yep, definitely drank that. And what I'm working on is off the screen. Sorry about that. Yeah, I just worked my way down. And yeah, that's gonna damn near done with the markers, at least for now. I mean, for the immediateness, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of cool with all this. Um, so I'm gonna jump, do some color pencils. The colors I have ready right here are some blues, greens, gray, and some kind of neutral tones like the browns and stuff like that. So I'll just tighten up the edges kind of like around shorelines and around cities and everything like that, and around like foliage. Just tighten up edges, and then yeah. What time is it? 9. So I must have been doing this, yeah, around 2 hours now. We're almost at 2 hours. Okay. So yeah, with only an hour left, that might be all that I do, is get to the pencils, and then yeah, I guess we'll just leave episode 100 for me to ink, which is cool. I could live with that. All right, here we go. Here we go. This man breaking down trauma. I'm gonna turn this up.
Opens with an advert for the Global Recreation Council, and their slogan
Oh, and he's
is
British too.
Research, Restore and Rebuild. As a
Something.
result, the theme of this episode is about preserving continuity against change. But what sort of change? Well, it begins with a T.
Begins with a T.
You would know that, wouldn't you? Actually, I don't know what that means. You didn't like it?
It is a matter of makes change complete. Captures the African American experience.
He's out of line, but he's right. Everybody loves Marvin Gaye. I like Marvin Gaye. Steve adored Marvin Gaye.
Of course, I'm back to talk about trauma.
Yeah, see?
But this time it's not how it's entangled with memory, self-esteem, or imagination, but how it's entangled with continuity. You see, human identity is like a house of cards, one that's always expanding, a story that is ever developing and always referred back to, because every memory becomes a new card. Trauma is when a card doesn't fit, because the experience itself is so painful that it's incompatible with everything else. And if you become obsessed with making it fit, the whole house of cards can fall apart, and you lose the confidence to build anything new.
This is new for me. I didn't have a moment to deal with anything, you know?
As Emily Keeley and Michael Pickering said, yes, I know I'm referencing them again, but I only have 2 days to make this video. The fact that trauma in the shock causes to the memory system, along with its associated forms of disorder, thwarts an individual subject's capacity to remember the past in a relatively coherent manner. Coherent, that is, for the sake of a recognizable continuity of self. You agree?
Anymore.
As a result, recovering from a traumatic experience often hinders on the individual's ability to build a new house of cards that facilitate the bad card. I hope my dumb, reductive metaphor makes sense. Well, the objective of this essay is to examine how the theme of trauma comes into play with the broader theme of continuity in this episode. And also, I've got to give people what they want, right? OnlyFans account coming soon, too. The episode properly begins with Walker apprehending a dude who sheltered the flag smashers from last episode. And he's not impressed to the extent that he spits on John's face, which causes him to shout. Walker is more or less the inverse of Sam's speech from episode 1. Using the shield, he's trying to attain meaning of life before he's got as much presence as a kid dressed as man with cheese. He's not effective as a symbol and is therefore ineffective against the flag smashers because they're loyal to a powerful idea, not to people or individuals. Bucky then goes to meet Zemo alone. Initially, Helmut taunts him, but very quickly reconciles with him.
All these words, I'm sorry. It was never personal. You were simply a means to the necessary end.
As a result, it's immediately established that Barnes is drawn to Zemo. He's almost like a substitute for Steve, because he's someone that knows him better than he knows himself.
Wow.
Which is why you came to me.
See, I don't be thinking about shit like that.
And they form an alliance out of such terms. Out of respect, Sam goes along with this, despite recognizing the political ramifications.
He killed King T'Chaka and framed you for it. Did you forget that? You think the Wakandans forgot about it?
And they leave with Zemo, who's revealed to be Buffy a rich background.
Rhetorical question. They
All the
didn't.
sea soldiers over time going after Hydra and those that attempted to recreate the Super Soldier program. Consequently, Zemo's hatred of the Avengers stems far deeper than just simply losing his family. It's rooted in his existential fears of dictators and false idols.
It was the way he looked up to Stephen. But I realized something when I met him. I thought about nothing else for over a year. Studied you. But now that you're standing here, I just realized there's a bit of green in all your eyes. The danger with
Nice to find a flaw.
America's super soldiers is that we put them on pedestals. Marches down become symbols, icons. And then we start to forget about their flaws. From there, cities fly. Innocent people die. Movements and form. Wars not fought. You remember that, right? As a young soldier sent to Germany to stop that icon. Do we want to live in a world full of people like the Red Skull?
Therefore, Zemo, like Sam, is defined by a strong set of responsible convictions, but unlike him, he's deeply confident about it and he's invested in himself. We then have a funny scene where Zemo reads Bucky's book with the names of those he's trying to make preparations for and gangs up on him with Sam about his lack of interest in getting into the same modern culture Steve was enjoying.
I've seen that book. It was Steve's when he came out of the ice. I told him about Troublemaker. He wrote in that book. Did you hear it? What'd you think? I like 40s music, so.
On one hand, we're presented with a pretty in-your-face metaphor for Bucky's inability to stand on his own 2 feet because he's so desperately mimicking Steve's recovery that he doesn't know how to enjoy his own freedom as himself. He lacks the self-knowledge, as his therapist highlighted.
So, now you stop fighting. What do you want?
And on the other hand, Zemo's analytical mind actually helps bring awareness to Bucky's lack of awareness, because unlike Sam, Zemo knows how to target someone's psychology. Effectively, this follows Winter Soldier's notion that America is not excluded from becoming as bad as its own enemies, and on a character level, this plants a seed of doubt into Sam's mind because he saw how ideas can corrupt and destroy people firsthand. As a result, these first 14 minutes present Zemo as like a guiding light, a confidence that both Sam and Bucky lacked in their own introductions, and only partially provoked out of each other through banter.
Cut to this
Carly, aka Freckle Girl, watches her friend die while hiding in a
Freckle
house,
Girl.
So she's lost 2 mates so closely that the trauma has begun to set in. The 3 dudes then infiltrate a nightclub. Sam looks like my Saints Row character. Information emphasizes Zemo's growing influence even more. They meet with Ellen, and before they trade Bucky for the information, Sam's sister ruins it, and Sharon has to save them.
It cost me everything.
Sure, wait.
She's now a resentful cynic who's lost her life after helping Steve and Sam. As a result, as a victim of the heroics of the other characters, similar to Zemo, Sharon challenges the beliefs of the characters by criticizing them directly.
You know the whole hero thing is a joke, right? Really, you gave up that shield deep down, you must know it's all hypocrisy.
Damn.
Sam rises up, asserts himself, and is able to sincerely read her vibe and negotiate for her help.
I don't trust Jerry.
Part of the deal, though.
Yeah, her and Sam definitely got
Unlike
something
Walker,
going
Sam
on.
displays actual strong leadership and people skills that can actually inspire other people to think differently. Zemo then dances like a grandpa. They get the information on the dude who created the new Super Soldier serum, Dr. Nagel, a former Hydra scientist that was hired by the CIA to unlock Isaiah Bradley's blood, which was then stolen by Carly. Zemo shoots him and the lab is destroyed. Everyone escapes, Sharon leaves, Bucky doesn't move his seat, and Carly says farewell to her old desires.
Maybe it made the job roll up, right?
You can tell she's evolved into someone else now.
Mm-hmm.
Walker then figures out Sam and Bucky have broke Zemo out, goes after them.
Upstairs, please, they have blood with broken down. I've seen black person. That's exactly what I think.
After regrouping, Sam is especially stressed with what happened to Sharon and the consequences of fetishizing Steve's legacy to the extent that he considers destroying the shield.
Maybe I shouldn't have put it in a museum. Maybe I should have destroyed it.
He thinks more like Zemo than himself now. But Bucky reaffirms its importance and even considers taking it for himself.
Balls upside down in your cap. They're gonna be water, so before you go and destroy it, I'm gonna take it from myself.
Which doubles down his desire to be more like Steve and less like himself. On one hand, we might get Bucky becoming Captain America before Sam, like in the comics, but on the other hand, Zemo's values has infected their minds and pushed them further down the wrong path.
There's Nick. We're changing the course.
Speaking of wrong paths, the Flag Smashers continue to steal from the military to give to the dying, but Carly escalates it to murder.
Where's the middle of that?
So the moral lines are beginning to be blurred. Bucky discovers Io from Wakanda, who's after helmets, which means next episode we're really going to push the validity of the one world, one people message and push it right into the forefront. Wacky stuff. So yeah, I really like this episode. It's not even the point of me putting my opinion into these bloody videos. I'm just gonna say, ooh, I liked it. Trauma is represented
That's what I
as
say.
the reason why everyone becomes obsessed with continuities, and why fetishizing it can become a deeply erosive obsession. Bucky's journey of self-discovery is actively limited by his need to draw his identity entirely from someone else, from Steve. Sam's anxiety about the shield's continuity and destroying those that follow it actively inhibits him from seeing how he could personally change it with the natural contents of his character. Walker brings nothing to the shield and instead tries to coast off its historical continuity. Sharon's life was destroyed due to her loyalty, but despite being a non-believer anymore, she still leans towards her history of being helpful, and the world itself is trying to politically restore an old continuity. Carly saw good people die for no reason in a cruel, divided and apathetic world, so she begins to adopt the same cruel, divisive actions that she's been criticizing. The slogan, reset, restore and rebuild, totally refers to everyone.
Okay, guys, I see what you're doing. You're more worldly than good old Sam.
Because in some way, they've all had their cards knocked down, an identity that's destroyed, and are trying to build something else out of the same pieces. Trauma is marked by the inability to remember the past, therefore the inability to imagine the future. Although the one character that has actually come out of this process with enough self-esteem to have a confident imagination is Zemo. At the
Yep.
end of Civil War, Helmut had already completely reinvented himself. He was a father who lost the story of his life when his children and wife died, and he rewrote it as a man who fought against gods and won.
Mm-hmm.
He even deleted his family's last message to him. Therefore, the man we see here, who's laughing and having a good time, is a new man who has successfully reset his life outside of prison, restored his mission, and has rebuilt himself.
Mm-hmm.
As a result, in a similar way to how last episode used John Walker to highlight the effects of symbolic power, Zemo emphasizes the importance of rebuilding symbolic power. A lesson that Sam
Wow.
recognized, but is
That's what our boys is trying to do.
He's got the leadership skills, the experience, and more importantly, a different background that can reset, restore, and rebuild Steve's legacy.
Wow. This is nuts.
In summary, I don't know, you get me, Glad. People still say that, right?
Oh, what's gonna be the drop? Wow. I love that guy's breakdowns, man. That's interesting. It's interesting, man. You see why I listen to that, man. You just gotta listen to people who are smarter than you sometimes about certain topics. Oh, wow. I got a Top Hat Gaming man. He's talking about some weird beat 'em up game, and it claims that it's Metal Gear Solid, a beat 'em up Metal Gear Solid video game. So I don't know if this is like legit or not. Sometimes he'll feature games that are like fan made. Oh, he has the weirdo guy breaking it down. Yeah, the weirdo guy always covers. I could turn that down. I hate his voice. See, you always get something new, man. Man's breaking down how Zemo has been able to move on because he was successful, and I was talking about like, yo, yeah, he was successful in breaking up the Avengers, and now with Cap and Tony gone, he's got to be like at the moon. He set them up to fight. They fought. They survived that, but at the end of things, neither one is there anymore. Um, and yeah, him saying at the end of whatever movie it was Civil War, he deletes the messages. You know, he deleted the message from his family, and I recall that. I recall that scene very specifically. Never gave it any thought, but yeah, he. It's so true because those messages were things that were keeping him holding on. You know what I mean? They were the driving force for him to do what he did in Civil War. Like he said, battle against gods and win. And them being gone is just like the cherry on top of winning, and it's a hell of a cherry for real. And yeah, like I've been talking about it as far as like I spoke about how my brother and I kind of got into an argument over the phone, and not like a serious argument. We were talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier. He was just telling me, he's like, "Oh, I don't like it. It's stupid." And I was just like, you check again because it's pretty dope, and this is why." And then I explained it to him, and I was kind of I was kind of yelling it at him. And he goes, "See, this is what you need to be talking about on your podcast." And I'll get there. It's just I don't really have people who talk to me on the podcast to give me these ideas to prompt me to say these things. Like they all just kind of linger in my head. Maybe they come out, maybe they don't. But if I'm prompted to say something, if there's a subject matter and I have an opinion about it, yeah, absolutely. I'm always going to talk about it. I'm always sharing my ideas and my thoughts on here. Um, oh wow, there is a Metal Gear beat 'em up. Holy shit! But it looks like a Game Boy Advance type of game. Like a really, limited color, limited pixels. Metal Gear 2. Wow. Oh my God, Mattel Gear. So it is a bootleg, yeah. That's hilarious. Yeah, but getting back to, it's so interesting. Now you see why I'd be watching stuff like that. And I always just think it's interesting to get that extra perspective and get as many really well broken down and thought out perspectives like that. I mean, I just never connected the pieces. I knew like Bucky and Falcon are trying to figure it out, and that's what I was telling my brother. I'm like, yo, man, these guys is like, they out here, they just trying to figure it out, and they told us in Endgame, everybody loves Endgame. He goes, how's that? How's it feel? And he goes, it feels like someone else's, and that's where the first episode, that's exactly where we pick up with the Falcon, is, almost to say like that's what's playing on his head as he's planning to go into this conference and or meeting or whatever it is, this uh what do you call that when you have a bunch of news people around? Uh Whatever. When he went to go make that announcement, he had that on his mind. He had a Cap on his mind, and what he told him, and he's sticking to what he said. You know, I mean, if he could have told Cap, "Oh, it feels like someone else's," and then immediately just pick it up. Where we see him starting off with this show, but that's not what happened, man. Start to show exactly where we left off, and the regret that you see on Falcon's face at the end of it when they announced the new cap, the fake busted cap, the not my cap. uh, you see his face, and that's the story. It's such a good story. I'm like, how are people not feeling this? How are people not into this? Like, I get it, it's not Chris Evans, but we know Chris Evans time traveled and got with Peggy, and he is wherever he is, but he's an old man wherever he's at. So, you know, uh, yeah, it's just so interesting. So Falcon's lost, and he's trying to pick himself back up, and at the same time, he has Bucky that he's been reaching out to the entire time, and Bucky's ignoring him. So he's got Bucky on the mind. He's like, God damn, man. The only man who can kind of vibe with me on this Captain America shit on the level. You know what I'm saying? I'm reaching out to this man, and he's not answering my call, and that's gotta have its own like weight, and it's revealing on its own. And then you have Bucky, and he's going through everything he's going through. Like no need to recap it, but I probably will. I mean, he says it flat out. He's been a murder machine for 90 years, and he remembers all of it. He says it in Civil War when they're fighting Iron Man. He goes, "Do you even remember, killing my mom, or killing my parents, whatever, you know what I mean?" But he goes, "I remember all of them." God damn. That's heavy, man. That's so heavy. So we're picking up with that guy, you know? I think it was in episode 1 where he's talking to the psychiatrist, and he's like, in Wakanda, I had some calm. I had a little bit of calm. It goes to speak about like Wakanda and how they handle things, because yeah, they're the most technological place, but it's like, you look at where he was as the White Wolf, and it didn't seem to be a bit of technology there at all. I mean, that's just something I noticed about the Wakanda thing is like, yeah, they fixed him, but they didn't put him on a doctor's table, and just shot radio waves in his brain until the memories went away. Like, they seemed like they did like a real holistic thing. Put him in a tent, separate him. You know what I mean? The kids are welcome around. We're just gonna send one person to kind of come check in on him, make sure he's good. You know what I mean? And yeah, he's like, he had a little bit of calm before before he disappears and loses 5 years of his life. And then he comes back, and now he's just thrusted into this, like, well, we're gonna let you be free because of your help in Endgame. Thanks for saving us from the aliens that wiped out half of the life on the planet. Who knows if they even know that half the life in the universe actually went. You know what I mean? I wonder how much people know about everything. Either way, they probably know everything. And so we're picking up with Bucky, who's there. He's lost in his own thing of like, dude, my everyone I like he's suffering like Cap suffered. Like Cap talking about like, oh, everyone I know is dead, or they're in the home. Like when he went to go see Peggy, and she's like mad old, and he's like, yeah, everyone I know is like 1,000 years old or dead, like, and that's where Bucky's at. You know what I mean? When he's saying lines like, "Oh, he's like, Sam, I'm really into 40s music." He's like, he's old. And he's alone in that. And he's psychologically broken, without the calm. It kind of makes me wonder why he doesn't go back to Wakanda. I wonder what sort of deal America and Wakanda has with one another. Why, like, Bucky could be set free, but then can't. I guess it's the whole house arrest thing. Like, hey, you're gonna be on house arrest with our doctors. Oh shit, am I on the light pencil? Whoopsie. Let me sharpen these real quick. Yo, this video game is literally like a Game Boy Advance or like a Game Boy Color version of a side-scroller beat 'em up where you're Snake, a sprite Snake side-scroller beat 'em up, just punching people like Streets of Rage. That's hilarious. Anyways, um, so yeah, man, and so Bucky, he ain't getting the help that he wants, and I'm sure that's just perpetuated by not wanting to go see your friends. Hey man, I get it. I'm mad. I'm mad like solo myself, just me personally. Um, a lot of my friends they don't really understand, but I, as an artist, it can get really lonely. Um, and most of the time it's just from our own choosing. I would play video games and play sports with friends and go outside and do all that other stuff. And then we'd go inside, we play video games and, play a few rounds. But you're in a room with like, you know, half a dozen kids and you're all passing the controller around. I'd be like I said, I learned I could draw at second grade. So at a young age, I was just like, I'm going to go draw. I'm gonna go draw some Dragon Ball Z stuff, man. Give me a paper, give me a pencil. And then I'd leave the room, go to a room by myself, hear everyone else playing in the other room, and I would just draw. Like that was my thing, man. Uh, so to speak on the wanting to be alone, I get it. It's not like, oh, screw you guys or screw you people or anything like that. It's just like, nah, I'm doing me over here, man. I'm just over here doing me. I don't want to, I don't want no problems. I don't want to bother nobody. I just want to do this. Like, let me be. And I get that. And with Bucky doing it, like, that's what he's doing. Bucky's, ignoring Sam's calls because Sam, you know, Bucky's like, man, I'm old. I'm old. Like, I don't want to do none of this. My one and only friend who was here with me, he gone because he wanted to go do some time travel, return some stones, and then go be happy, live with his girl, and get old on a brother, and then just like be gone. He's like let me be. I'm kind of done. I need to process this. I had some quiet and calm in Wakanda. I need to get back to that. Like let me get my mental right. I ain't trying to answer your call, Sam. Like, I get that. And that's where our heroes are at. Those are our heroes. That's Falcon and, and Winter Soldier. That's hilarious. And they're doing this whole, like, buddy cop, uh, lethal weapon type of storytelling, between the two characters. And I love it. Um, Except this time it's the black guy who's the young guy, and it's the white guy who's the old guy. I'm still waiting for Bucky to just be like, I'm getting too old for this shit. Like I am waiting for them to drop that line. They have to. They have to. It's gotta come up this season. I'm getting too old for this shit. uh, and So yeah, they're both a bit lost. They're a bit, awkward. They're a bit like, just not completely composed of themselves. You know what I'm saying? That like they're kind of just out here and reluctant to do anything. Sam seems to be wanting to do a whole bunch. He's reaching out to Bucky. He's trying to help his sister get the loan. Like Sam's being active, but he's avoiding the Captain America stuff, which is interesting because it's like, yo, you think because he's trying to be Captain America for his sister, helping her get the thing, even like being like, yo, I'm the Falcon, like you gotta for sure get us this loan. Like I'm the Falcon, I saved the world. Like give me that motherfucker loan, and like he's being a hero in one sense at that moment. And it's interesting that he doesn't feel like he's living up to the Captain America name by doing even just the littlest thing like that. Or reaching out to Bucky. That was Cap's whole story. Cap's whole trilogy was him and Bucky. I didn't realize it until the second movie. I didn't enjoy the first Captain America movie. I didn't like it. It was so predictable. I watched the whole thing and I felt like I just saw something that I already knew what was gonna happen, and I was kind of shitty about it. I was just like, you know what I mean? Meanwhile, I can watch other movies and I can know what happens and I can completely love them. So I don't know what it was about the first Captain America movie that I didn't like, especially me loving World War II so much. And doing so many reports on World War II. Like I love that era and everything like that. But I didn't like the first Captain America movie. It didn't hit me until the second movie. Oh shit! What's playing on my YouTube now? Just so I'm aware. They're talking about it's new rock stars. I'm always watching them, but Falcon and Winter Soldier, Super Soldier aging explained. Oh, so they're just talking about how all the super soldiers like age and stuff, which is kind of interesting. But I'm gonna keep that low because I'm on a roll right now. I'll just like replay it or something, rewind, because I don't want to break my thoughts right now. So yeah, man, like Falcon, he's or Cap, Steve Rogers, his whole thing. I didn't realize it until the second movie, or maybe even the third movie. It might have not even been until Civil War where it really hit me, and I realized what the Cap trilogy was about. It was just him chasing down Bucky, man. Like he lost Bucky in the first movie, and I didn't care. And then Bucky comes back in the second movie. I probably just thought like, well, whatever. Like still don't care. Badass movie, one of the best movies in the trilogy. But as far as like the Cap Bucky relationship, that's what I mean by I didn't care. But yeah, I love that the second Captain America, one of the best ones. It's up there. It's got to be top three. I want to say I didn't like sit down and write a list or anything like that, but it's got to be like top three in like what I think are the best Marvel movies. I love that movie. It's really good. But still, I can't recall if that was the movie that I realized what the Cap trilogy was about or not. But it might have even been in Civil War, and it was probably in Civil War that I realized, oh my God, I've been watching these movies from the wrong perspective as far as Captain America goes, as far as Steve Rogers' storyline went. When I realized his whole thing is going to be about him and Bucky, and of course it is, because Bucky's his sidekick, like in the comics and stuff, like he's the one guy he has like I didn't realize any of this stuff when I was watching him. Mind you, it's like years ago. I'm in my 20s. I'm doing me. So, and like I said, I'm always saying I'm not like the sharpest tool. So, but it hit me, and I was like, oh my God, this is what these movies are about. And it's all about once Cap realizes that his friend is back, even though his friend isn't really his friend no more. Like he's this brainwashed thing. No wonder why that was the sequel. The first movie he loses them, and that sucks. But I gotta go get rid of this red-faced fool, and now he's alone, and he has to deal with all this, and he has to catch up on life, and Falcon's here. That's cool, but whatever. And now here comes Winter Soldier, you know, coming through, and then boom, mask drops, face reveal, and now all of a sudden, oh shit, that's my boy over there. And then that's what it's about. He loses him, he finds him, boy meets girl, boy really likes her, boy loses contact with girl, but he finds her. It's one of those stories, but it's about, best friends. And Falcon is doing exactly what Steve did. He's reaching out for Bucky. He's trying to keep contact with him. He's trying to be like, yo, like, you good? We good? What's up? Hey man, gotta talk to people. like he's doing that whole thing, man. Like, the fact that Falcon does that and still doesn't feel like he's worthy to carry on the Cap legacy. It's like, yo. It's like what's Falcon's name? Sam. Sam, come on, man. I can't believe his name is Sam. Makes me think of like Frodo and Sam and that. Like, yo, Sam, come on, man. You for real? You out here trying to help hook your sister up? You trying to reach out to Bucky? You doing the Captain America stuff? You doing the heart? That's what got Cap to be Cap, was the heart. You doing the heart, man. The fact that he doesn't feel like he's like, it feels like it's somebody else's. It's like, that is wild. I think that's why the whole Isaiah Bradley thing resonated so much with him. Not that, the story is so messed up and things like that, but just to be like, yo, like there wasn't just one Cap. So if there wasn't just one and now there's two, like, he doesn't have to live up to one name. And now that there's two names, he's like, I could have been a third now. This guy wrote his own story. I had an opportunity to write my own, and I didn't take it. And he has that regret at the end of the first episode, and he finds out about Isaiah Bradley the second episode, and we're just taking Falcon into that direction of like, nah, brother, you can do it. You there. You already there. You just need to accept it. You just need to accept it. That's all you got to do. And now that's the journey that we're going on with Falcon. It's so good. It's so good. I don't see how people don't see that shit. But, watching that implicitly pretentious video about Zemo and stuff, that's the thing I didn't think about. Where it's so interesting how Zemo is a man who moved on. He was stuck. He, listening to his family's message. He's looking at his, the city. He lost his home. He lost his family. Like the whole Civil War thing happens. He wins, but he's in prison. It's not like he got to live the that James Bond life after winning, after beating his enemies at Iron Man and Cap. At the end of Civil War, oh, here you are. You didn't win, or how's it feel to fail? Or whatever that guy said to him, the agent. And he goes, did I? But did I though? And then the agent's face drops. And he's like, what you talking about, man? You lost. You lost. And it lets you know about the mind of the man. And now we see him, and I talked about it after I watched the episode, and I came on here fresh after watching it. I think I watched it twice in a row before I even started, just to get it like really popping in my head, man. Cause, dude, Zemo came out with all the swagger, and I'm watching breakdowns and people are like, yo, Zemo's a completely different man. Like, it's not cool. He's not the same that he was before. And it's like, yeah, duh. The man has come to terms. The man, the man is he was a caterpillar and now he's a butterfly. You know what I'm saying? Like the man, uh, definitely he's he's spreading his wings, man, and now he's ready to fill himself. His enemies are gone. He's come to terms about his family. He finished his mission, so he can move on from that, and now he just has to deal with Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and get, you know what I mean. They broke him out of prison, so he's like, all right, just deal with Tweedledee, Tweedledum, and then I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna wash my hands with all this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and really be, you know what I mean, a baron like a motherfucker with my Thanos mask and and wreck shop. Like I'm just out here to get this done. I just need to get rid of Tweedledee, Tweedledum, and here come Tweedledee, Tweedledum, and they like, the it's so interesting how he broke it down. How it's like the White Wolf go to him because he's like one of the few who get him because he knows about the Hydra stuff. You know what I mean? He battled Cat. Like he's like, this is another individual that knows me, and people like him are far and few between, as far as people who know me. And that he's, you know what I mean, like to say like that Sam and Bucky are stuck in a rut right now, and Zemo's not. So for them to be looking towards Zemo as he led that episode, like Zemo ran shit that episode. And I was talking about, I'm like, yo, homie came in with all the swag. Like if you a broke down bum and you just need a little pick me up, and you just like, yo, I'm gonna go hang out with the cool guy for a day and just pick up on that energy. Like that's kind of what they did. They got Zemo. Zemo's out here. He's like, yo, look at my car. Grab my fur coat. Look at his collar. This Dalmatian. You can't even get Dalmatian in the States. Like he's just out here. He's like, I got y'all, man. Don't worry, man. Don't worry about the bouncer. I'll get you through the front door. You know what I mean? Bucky, just act like the Winter Soldier. Don't be Bucky. Just be the Winter Soldier. And what's he do? He lines right up. He's like, all right, I'll be the Winter Soldier. Bet. And then he does it, and then we see it. And it's interesting for him to say it like Zemo's one step ahead of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Mentally, emotionally, all that stuff. Like he's a man accomplished. He's a man, moving forward with his life. He's a man who's just like making moves. You know what I mean? He's gorilla stomping the yard. And that's something that Sam could have did had he taken up the shield. He could have just gorilla stomped the yard, but been righteous about it, getting loans for his sister and getting in contact with Buck. You know what I'm saying? Like he could have did that, but he didn't. And now he's just trying to play catch up and get to that. That's what we need to see from him at the end of this. We need to see him just take up the mantle, take up the shield, and be like, all right, I'm Cap. Bet. Like I don't care how you feel about it. Like I'm gonna be out here and I'm gonna do this. And yeah, same thing with Bucky. Same thing with Bucky, man. That's why I'm still like, I don't know what's gonna end up happening with Bucky. He's such an enigma to me, as far as like where is his story gonna go? Where is his what's gonna end up happening with him. I remember after watching episode 2, I believe, and I was just like, yo, I think Wakanda's gonna get involved in some way. Like I was kind of thinking about it, and then at the end of episode 3, we kind of get that confirmed, and now it's like, okay, but I still wonder what's gonna happen. Like, okay, Buck can go back to Wakanda. Like, I get that, but why? For just the peace and calm, and then never pop up again and never arise again, so that we could just salute his character, say bye, be gone, have peace, and then he goes back to his little shelter in Wakanda, and just hanging out with a toga and no arm and shit, and just you know what I'm saying? Like, and we never see him again. He just sails off into the sunset like that. Like, is that where it's gonna go? Not that I'd be mad with that, but I don't see that happening. Is he gonna just go back to Wakanda and represent for them? We don't know what they're gonna be doing about Chadwick Boseman. We don't know what they're gonna be doing about Black Panther. We don't know what's gonna happen with Wakanda. You know what I mean? There's all the theories. There's everything that we can do, and I'm not suggesting he gonna be White Panther or nothing like that. That's for sure. But he could be White Wolf. And if you remember White Wolf's in the comics, I believe he was like like defense. Like he was like security. White Wolf was like Wakandan security. He was like border patrol, and you know, keeping an eye out for people like Claw, like Ulysses Claw from the Black Panther movie, the bad guy. To like make sure like people like him get dealt with. Like he was helping out the Dora Milaje and all that other stuff. Like he was security. You know, he went on patrol and stuff. Like Black Panther was handling stuff in the office, and he would go out and get his hands dirty. Like like I believe that's what White Panther's role was. I didn't read the comics. I kind of just, you know, I watched a YouTube video of it, of course, because that's what I be doing. But I believe that's what he would do. So like, is that where he goes? Does he go back to Wakanda, try to do the whole peace thing? But are we gonna pick up with him, like being a Wakandan defender? How are they gonna handle the Black Panther situation? You know, it's gonna get addressed for sure. Like, you know, I don't want to say they have to do it, but you know, they've said all sorts of things. Oh, we're not gonna do CGI. We're not gonna replace them. We're not gonna do this and that. But they don't tell us what they are gonna do. So then it's like, okay. Like I said, I don't think it's gonna be White Panther. Not gonna do that. That's not gonna sell. So it's like that could be something of like, and it could fit in story wise. Oh, we need, you know, Bucky be like, yo, I'm gonna go back. Like, fuck all this therapy shit. Fuck my, you know, I'll be a wanted person. I'm just gonna go back and chill. And he goes back to Wakanda to chill and get his mind right. And then he has to, you know, push comes to shove, and then he has to defend the country. And he does that. And you know, as White Panther, he's something like a Captain America for Wakanda type stuff. So while Falcon's doing America, Bucky can do Wakanda, and then that could be something. But still, you know, I don't know. You know, that's just to talk about these characters. That's not talking about Black Panther and what they're gonna do with that. If they go the Shuri route, if they go the Gorilla Clan guy route, the funny dude, that man was hilarious. He would have been perfect for that role. They bring back, you know, Michael B. Jordan from the dead. I don't know. I think he'd been dead for far too long. You know, that body decomposed all the way at the bottom of the ocean. That man, crab food. Um. You know, it's just what are they gonna do? Are they gonna get Michonne? Whatever, I forget her Wakanda name, but you know, they get Michonne. We get a Black Panther with a samurai sword. Come on, man! Like, give me that. So, but that's talking about Wakanda, but it's not I don't know what it means for Bucky. Like it's gonna be really interesting to see where he goes. And it was an interesting breakdown for to be like, yeah, we talking with Zemo, but Zemo's story wise is playing a role of like uh how to teach Stella how to get her groove back, sort of thing. Um, but yeah, see, just one bar from that whole video just blew my mind, and I can kind of rant for a little bit. What was that, like not a good 20-30 minute rant? I'm gonna rewind this video and turn it up. Again, it's new rock stars. I love these guys. You know, they're always breaking stuff down, and they drop in like 1-2 videos a day, and they're well put together, and they're not annoying. You know what I mean? And they're just talking about the aging of super soldiers. So I'm sure they're gonna talk about like how fast, how slow, do they age at all?
And who's the real Daddy Warbucks of the comic world? I just realized your last name is Warbucks. Like, does Daddy Warbucks make all of his money from war? Is he a
I would
Warbucks
assume
here?
so. I would assume so. War's a very profitable thing, I hear.
That's really dark for Andy. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm off-screen producer Brandon, and I'm here with MT.
Greetings, people. I hope you all are doing well. I missed you. It's been a while since I've seen you, even though it's only been a couple of days. But hello.
The people missed you too, MT. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. All right, let's hop into the big question this week. The Falcon and Winter Soldier has introduced some new super soldiers onto the MCU chessboard. We got the mysterious organization, the Flag Smashers. We've finally been introduced to Isaiah Bradley, an American super soldier. Bucky fought as the Winter Soldier back in 1951, and who was
I want to see that.
and kept secret from the public. Terrible stuff. But all of
Terrible stuff.
really bring up one of our favorite psychological questions. How does aging work differently for super soldiers?
That is a fantastic question, Brandon. I'm glad you asked it. Well, before we talk about that, we got to talk about us because there's more humans on the world than super soldiers. I don't know if people have told you, but that is the case. And aging, aging in humans is natural and has many effects on the body. And we do it every day. It's against our will. It's literally the worst. Don't do it if you can. Aging.
I hate aging.
My bones hurt every day.
My bones hurt. Oh my god.
New cells replace them as we age. But at some point, the new cells stop coming because our genes are programmed to limit the number of times a cell can divide and make new cells. As a result of this, most bodily functions peak before age 30, and then the slow decline begins. I'm 29, so I'm feeling that slow decline right now.
I wish I was 29, MT. I wish I was still 29. That would be great.
29 is it's pretty good, but I'm starting to feel it, Brandon. I'm starting to feel
Stay
it.
there. Apparently 30 is when it all starts to go downhill. So stay at 29 for as long as you can.
Stay as long as you can. For the love of God, Gary.
The eyes and ears are usually the first things to change, but a lot of other effects of aging can be seen throughout the body. I mean, bones become less dense, joints begin to break down as the cartilage weakens, muscles become less strong, our skin becomes thinner and less elastic, the nerve cells in our brain decrease, and even our sense of smell and taste gets weaker, which I'm not looking for.
We still focused? Yeah.
It's just like, how do I survive without the sense of smell and taste, man?
How do I tell if the cheese is gone bad if I can't smell it?
Exactly. You're just gonna have to just pray. Just eat the cheese anyway. Just pray. Just
Oh, cheese gods, please give me unmoldy cheese this day.
cheese guys, please. Don't hurt me, cheese guys.
Delicious cheese gods. Oh, the lactose gods have forsaken me.
Oh, me too. I am very lactose intolerant, Brandon. Oh no.
I've been tossed out of the kingdom of lactose.
Oh man. The lactose gang. I envy you. I envy all of you guys that can eat lactose. I'm not part of the lactose gang. There are a lot more awful, terrifying, depressing things that can happen to our frail human bodies as we age, but I just wanted to hit the highlights and give you a concise idea about the process of aging.
I appreciate you keeping it happy.
Well, that's what I do. It's just, just gotta keep it positive light. We're all dying every day. You know, right? It's little things, Brandon.
Just moving towards the grave, my friend. It's moving towards the grave.
Our super soldier friends do not have to worry about this problem, which is great, Steve. I'm glad you don't have to worry about that. Think about that. Aging for them is completely different. There are different serum out there, but it seems like every version has the effect of enhancing the metabolic, cellular, and chemical processes of the body. This increases strength, stamina, and healing abilities while building up greater resistances to fatigue and exhaustion. More importantly, they appear to age much slower than human meat. But they flash in their old age. And you guys say Brad, he's still looking pretty good for his age. I mean, and you know what they say, Brandon? Black don't crack. That's what they say every day.
Man, stupid.
It's what the first words my mother told me. He's like, listen, young lady, black don't crack. You'll be looking like this for until you're 85.
The first words my mother told me were, "Stay out of the moldy cheese."
Don't eat the moldy cheese, Brandon. Trust your sense of smell and taste. Now, it's important to keep in mind that Steve Rogers is the only super soldier that we know of that has received the original Dr. Erskine formula with the ever-important Vita Rays. Every other super soldier has been the result of an attempt to recreate that formula with varying degrees of success.
Yeah, Steve got that uncut Erskine.
Uncut.
He's like, "Don't worry, Steve, I'm gonna make so much of this stuff. We're gonna have whole armies full of Erskine's formula. It's gonna be great."
Man, like, it's that original recipe KFC that Steve got in his veins.
Ooh, that's some good stuff.
They looking good. Delicious. Now, we'll go through the super soldiers that we do know of and see if we can determine their aging process. Starting with Captain America, born on July 4th, 1918. What a coincidence, right? I
What a
mean,
coincidence for old Captain America.
right? I feel like all parents have to plan that.
That's like, I think it's like retconning by the U.S. government. Like, they probably went in and changed his like birthday to make it July 4th.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like, you got a little more patriotic. There's nothing patriotic about August 2nd.
Sorry, all you August 2nd.
I'm so sorry. I'm truly patriotic. Anyway, so he was born on July 4th, 1918, and he gets the serum in 1943. And in 1945, he crashes into the Arctic ice and is frozen at age 27, which is, you know, he's done a lot more at 27 than I've ever done. So, that's still pretty good. And then he's thawed out in 2011, 66 years later, but he's actually 27 since he was frozen that entire time.
Yeah, because this is like going to be important because, right, when you're frozen in the ice, you're not aging, I guess, because his metabolism is so slow. He's like barely moving.
Yeah, so like your biological age is still 27,
Yeah,
even though
like on paper he's 66, but he's 27.
Yeah.
It looks great.
I'm 106.
I haven't been frozen. I look like 56. So,
I was very close before, never frozen.
I mean, I live in New England, so we're just perpetually frozen, I guess.
You're at 106, right? So,
And then by the end of the final battle with
Oh,
Thanos,
that's what I got the gray for.
he'll be around like 39 years old. And then he goes to the quantum tunnel to replace the Infinity Stones, but decides to live up in a British reality with Peggy Carter, the love of his life, and alternate. Yeah, I mean, she's a very strong, powerful, but also coincidentally very beautiful.
Oh man,
yeah,
I'm coming up on 3 hours. I gotta end this stream.
Peggy Carter, right?
How long is this video?
I mean, I would risk the time-space continuum to live out a life with Peggy Carter.
50 minutes? I ain't staying on for another 50 minutes. I was about to say like, yo, I'll play the rest of this video and then I'll end it at that. I'm going to pause this video. And I am sad to say I didn't get as much of the pencils done as I thought. I got the water. But I still have the green and these neutral tones to kind of go with. So the green is going to help sharpen up some of the edges and some of the rendering in the leaves, because everything's kind of rendered the same amount, even though they look correct. The greens are going to go in to really kind of throw in the shades and everything else. And yeah, it's going to look dope. It'll be great. I can't wait. And let me see what else. Yeah, I have to retouch up these boats. And then yeah, because I just got to the this area and I'm smoothing all this out. But I was like, oh yeah, I can use the gray to smooth out the clouds because, you know, they're soft. They're clouds. I could really do that. And I'll probably throw even a little bit of blue around the upper bit over here like I did with this bit. Just kind of threw a little bit of blue so I can push up these clouds here. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. But I guess that's gonna have to wait until the morning on, man, it's gonna be episode 100. It's gonna be so great. So yeah, let me just scroll through this real quick. What did I do today? I just worked on these islands here for the most part, right? And the mermaid and stuff. Does this look like a fun park? Because it's supposed to. And yeah, once I go get in with the micro pen and really blend out all this stuff, but I mean, it's just piles of coral. If you ever seen a pile of coral at the, while scuba diving or something, like, it's a hot mess. It's a hot, colorful mess. And from this distance, you don't get to see all the beautiful, beautiful skeletal, whatever, membranous looking stuff. But yeah, on episode 100, I'm gonna be definitely finishing up these colored pencils because that's not gonna be much, and then I'm just gonna really hit the spots that need sharpening with with the black brush and pens and things like that. And then once I'm done there, this thing will be done. But yeah, so far so good. I love it. And yeah, this whole thing is supposed to look like a fun zone because it kind of is. Um, for some people, I should add that a little teaser for some people. Either way, I am G Mr. Drew. That's at G Mr. Drew on all social media. Please go follow, like, and subscribe. I'm on like Twitter and YouTube. I throw all my old episodes onto YouTube after a while, and you can watch everything all the way up to like episode 60 or something like that right now. G Mr. Drew on Patreon. If you like what you see here and you want to support me on Patreon, you get commissions in return as well as like behind the scenes, and you can talk to me through there, um, which is great. And I'm on Fiverr if you just want to straight up commission me. I do 4x6s, 11x17s, and then something else on there. I should probably add some more stuff to my Fiverr, but that's all I got for now. And gmrdrew.art, that's my website. Go check it out. You can see everything that I've ever done. Digital art, traditional art, sketch cards that I did at conventions, things like that. So you can see a bunch of old work that I did, but still working in traditional media like that, and see like the character portraits that I've done. I really like those. There's like Steven Universe stuff and like Venom from Marvel, all sorts of crazy things. So if you're into all that stuff, go check it out. Got some Deadpool stuff, But either way, you could always hit me up, and I'm down to work on any and all characters. Worked on. Oh, I got like a nice Iroh, one of the Goku piece that I always love to look at. Every now and then I'll make a piece that I actually like, and that Goku one that I have on there, I really enjoy. So yeah, you can catch all that stuff on my website, gmrdrew.art. And I want to thank you, viewer, for joining me on this Andrew Glowczewski experience, episode 99, working on this map illustration. And, I was quiet for maybe half the time, and then the other had a little bit where I actually got inspired to talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier and some other stuff, I think. Either way, uh, yeah, I'll be back, and thanks for being here. Love y'all. Peace.